It's Monday, the 14th of August, 2023. Good evening and welcome to News Tonight. Let's start with a look at the top stories. Lubaga Hospital commissions organ transplant theatre. Police in Entebbe impounds 215 iron sheets belonging to the office of the Prime Minister. Teso residents converge in huge numbers to welcome General Muhoozi. While Express FC signs in Alpha Sali on a 2-year contract. My name is Micheal. Lukomwa. Elizabeth Nakakoni is the lady in a sign language corner. Welcome aboard. In our first story tonight, Prime Minister Robin Nabanja has started a farmer mobilization on production, productivity and profitability, which agro-input dealers and academicians appreciate. Nabanja says that President Museveni outlined 6 policy proposals: production, multiplication, distribution and certification of seeds and stocking materials, disease control, agriculture mechanization and irrigation, plus farmer education and mobilization to be pursued in the agricultural sector. We have a detailed report to this.
The Prime Minister, Robin Nabanja, had an engagement with agro-input dealers and potential exhibitors to plan. The Prime Minister, Robin Nabanja, expressed government's readiness to partner with the private sector and involve youth in production to ensure agriculture transformation.
Are yet to join the production. We need to mobilize them. Some of them are all in Kampala and many major towns across the country. So, the earlier we started mobilizing our young people, the old people are in the villages, some of them can no longer manage, so we have to mobilize these younger people.
Professor Mondo Kagonyera appreciated government for starting farmer mobilization, which matches with changing environmental patterns.
A lot of the soils in this country, especially in the western part of the country, in the central region, and the Middle East, if we talk about the Busoga areas, I believe Mbali, the soils are massively depleted and therefore they are not productive. To the extent that in many parts of this country, we have real food insecurity. The quality of the products must meet the international standards. Application of irregular chemicals in our agriculture will render our products disqualified in export markets.
The president of Uganda Farmers Federation, Dr. Dick Nwamanya Kamganga, says that they support the plan.
We find this platform that is supposed to enhance the productivity of smallholder farmers by the Prime Minister a very welcome initiative.
Several stakeholders engaged in agro-inputs raised a number of issues that need to be addressed for the transformation of the agricultural sector.
Simply prepare their gardens and they go to a seedling center to carry seedlings to plant. There they are guaranteed at least that 98% of their seedlings are in good shape, they have been raised well. In Uganda, we do not have a single seedlings center.
Uganda took 3 kilograms per hectare per year fertilizer usage. We pray comparing NNC is nga Kenya 51 kilograms per hectare per year.
Does not produce as much as Bunyoro sub-region produces. But how are they going to know, how are they going to meet? If we are meeting Karamoja from there, we meet Bunyoro from this way.
A commissioner for agriculture extension coordination at the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Dr. Patience Ramigisa, says that government will establish silos in different parts of the country.
Produce that will come out of these investments we're going to make under the PDM that the production, if there is excess production, it must be moved out from the farmers. In all regions of the country, we have received all the data on landowners who have more than 50 acres, what they are doing with it.
The farmer education, mobilization, value addition and service delivery campaign starts on Friday, August 18th in Micheal. The agribusiness show will converge smallholder and large-scale farmers, farmer associations, agricultural researchers and agribusiness companies on the theme Farmer Mobilization, Education, Value Addition and Profitability Campaign.
Police in Entebbe have impounded 215 pieces of iron sheets belonging to the office of the Prime Minister from a private construction site. This comes 2 months since the DPP dropped charges against 17 government officials who had been suspected of having diverted stolen iron sheets from the office of the Prime Minister in the renowned Mabati saga.
Police have impounded 215 iron sheets labeled with Government of Uganda belonging to the office of the Prime Minister, which were procured to support vulnerable people.
We found there the motor vehicle UAZ 305A, which had already loaded 51 iron sheets. And we managed to recover 164 iron sheets in one of the rooms at the construction site. This brings the total of the iron sheets to 215. The iron sheets in particular had a label, and to be quoted verbatim is the label is Roofing's Prime Quality, 25th July 2022 for the office of the Prime Minister.
Police have launched investigations to establish the owner of this construction site, though no arrest made.
So we have gotten some evidence from the construction site, like getting the meter number and also the meter number of the electricity and also the meter number of national water. This, of course, will help us ascertain the identities and particulars of the owner, and we shall follow up from there. The exhibits have been transported to Entebbe police station, and the crime scene is still cordoned off. That is the construction site. We shall be giving you more details as investigation progresses.
In June this year, the Director of Public Prosecution dropped 17 charges against 17 government officials suspected to have diverted government property meant for Kadmajong vulnerable people. In other development, police will resume use of breathalyzers to detect persons engaged in drunken driving. This follows the Ministry of Health guidance on the use of the machines without contracting diseases.
So, after that engagement at the Ministry of Works today, we shall plan on when these operations should commence. But even without waiting for the commencement of these operations, we want to, first of all, caution the public that drink driving is punishable by law, and for that matter, we need to caution revelers and other people who drink that if you drink, ensure that you have somebody who will be able to drive you home.
Police introduced breathalyzers to counter accidents, although Ministry of Health advised their usage be suspended during the COVID-19 period. Abdul Nasser Lukomwa and Rogers Komagum for UBC.
UBC News Tonight. Ministry of ICT and National Guidance is pushing for tax waivers on technological devices such as smartphones as part of a comprehensive plan to accelerate digital penetration. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of ICT, Dr. Amina Zawede, says that Uganda's first digital transformation roadmap, which covers the digital agenda strategy, will be unveiled on the 17th of August this very year, 2023.
Government plans to increase digital services penetration across the country, but the plan could be hindered by the cost of internet-enabled devices. The ICT Ministry is engaging the Ministry of Finance to bring down the cost of the devices.
On the 17th of August 2023, that is Thursday this week, at the Kampala Serena Hotel, the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance will launch Uganda's Digital Transformation Roadmap, which is a comprehensive strategy that will share and shape the nation's technological landscape for the years to come. The reason why we have this roadmap is to help us in a systematic way realize our digital Uganda vision. Severally, His Excellency the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has guided us that the government is concentrating on developing 4 key sectors. That is agriculture, the service industry, ICT, service, ICT and industry as part of the strategic efforts to foster economic growth and development. Therefore, the Ugandan ICT sector is not merely a subset of our economic landscape, but it is a driving force behind our nation's socio-economic surge.
Dr. Amina Zawede, the Permanent Secretary at the ICT Ministry, discloses that government is also planning to make digital skilling mandatory for all government employees.
We have had a number of engagements with the telecom companies as well as the private sector to see how we can come up with low-cost devices, because it is after we have the devices that we can get people to join the digital transformation journey. We are also having discussions with the Ministry of Finance to be able to consider tax waivers on some of these devices so that they are affordable. One of the reasons that the adoption is low is the low levels of digital literacy. So we are doing a massive, digital assessment, and we'll do skilling for everybody in government. Soon it will be, digital skilling will be a requirement, just like we see mathematics and English.
The digital roadmap bases on 5 pillars like skilling, innovation and entrepreneurship, cybersecurity, enabling environment and infrastructure, digital services.
This 5-year ICT roadmap is one of the instruments that Uganda government has earmarked for quality service delivery across all the sectors of the economy. Notably, the ICT sector contributes about 9% to Uganda's GDP. Crispus Arenitwe for UBC.
Now, the defense team in the murder case of Immaculate Onebe Aiso has faulted the overall investigative officer, Constable Okello Jacob, for failure to investigate Kwizera Brian, the manager Kwizera Coaches Limited, who Abasa Gerard alleged to be the mastermind of the murder of the late. This was disclosed during close examination of the Constable Okello Jacob.
The defense legal team in the murder case of Immaculate Onebe Aiso, where Francis Onebe, the husband to the deceased, and the security guard Yoriokot Bona as suspect, is still cross-examining the overall investigative officer in this matter, Constable Okello Jacob. The case is before Judge Micheal Robo at High Court Criminal Division in Kampala. Defense legal team led by Patrick Kasumba asked Okello why they failed to follow up on the links provided to them by one Abasa Gerard about the killers, but they however decided to arrest him on charges of giving false information.
Video plus CCTV footage from the bus service for this 3rd of September. If you take a statement from the wife of Kwizera as regards the meeting that was convened in that office on 30 September 2020. You personally? No.
Defense also faulted Okello Jacob for not investigating Okero Charis, manager of Pentagon Security Company, after getting information that he had some internal conflicts with the deceased.
And I put it into you that Okero Charis is a police officer number, whatever number that I've mentioned, and it's your own. And I further put it into you that whatever you are doing it under his command and control, and you are protecting a colleague. And what a coincidence that on 31st, you received the file. On 1st, you are alleged in a conference.
Abasa's statement to court discloses that Kwizera Brian and the colleagues were given 150 million to execute the murder of Immaculate Onebe. Okere was also asked why they failed to investigate the alleged Kwizera Brian, who is said to be the mastermind of the murder of Immaculate Aiso Onebe.
I am telling this court repeatedly that the file, there were two files, but we were sharing information. There was a murder case file of Kabaragala and Kabaragala CRB 023 of 2021. Then there was another file which was generated as a result of Abasa's information under Kabaragala CRB 918, if I remember.
Constable Okero was also faulted for failure to get the call data between Okero Charis, the then manager of Pentagon Security Company, and Brian Kwizera's group. Defense also asked Okero Jacob what prompted them to believe that Abasa Gerard was giving them false information about the murderers of Immaculate Onebe.
Because you are being commandeered by one of your own is the very reason why you went to Pentagon. You recovered diaries and some minutes.
But my lord, by procedure, with or without a search warrant, we are allowed to search and recover. It is not because of being guided by some other person or being influenced that we did our work, but it was an instruction from the supervisor and the spirit of following.
Judge Micheal Rubo adjourned the case to 2nd October 2023 for further hearing of the matter. Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
Minister for Information, Communication and National Guidance, that is Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, has cautioned Kanungu district leaders against abuse of funds allocated for upgrade of roads. Speaking during the first service of newly ordained priest Crispin Mubangizi at Makiro Catholic Parish, Baryomunsi referred planning for the 1 billion shillings government fund for the development of the district road infrastructure.
The road infrastructure in the Kanungu district needs more funding for the community and business fraternity. The district chairperson says the allocated funds from government is insufficient.
Budget ya milioni bina nkaga bajaguwashara bachitariga na mushanjo bakota twabefye kutunga at least 20 something million kugira ngo hagire cyatandika ade bafiriko.
Although government is aware of the underdeveloped road infrastructure in the district, misuse of funds earmarked for specific projects remains unanswered.
When noreba government said zeri kolesa nezeri kwiho mishoro kandi umwaka ni gutandika ikibanzo kwa mushanjo mwe numwe kota yo kubanza omwe sede zibanje
narera kushobosebo kora ikeyo bagambire abanyakarungu twino kutashemererwa
kongana bwe niza kucendeza nyetekereza kanye sige ukanungwe sede tukubaherezaga nimuzikoleza kurunji aho kwa mwazi koleza kubi no kuri omwe government nezicendeza.
ICT Minister, also Kinkizi East Legislator, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, responds to assertions by the Kanungu District Chairperson. But as Member of Parliament for Kinkizi East, Dr. Baryomunsi pledged more government support.
Budget yesente ezenkuto tuzonjeize ka government ubwo mwaka nimwija kutunga sente ziri kwika biliyoni emwe yo kudabiriza enkuuto abwa Kanungu district yona.
This entire engagement happened at the Kifunjo area of the Micheal Catholic Parish. It was during the first service of newly ordained priest Crispin Mubangizi. Baryomunsi encouraged the parents to support children in spiritual service.
Nienda kusima abazaire no kubakulisia abazaire ba Father Crispino mwebale okuherezayo mutabani wanyu mukamuhonjere Eklezia kandi mukamwikiriza okubasa okuhereza Ruhanga.
Crispin Mubangizi is among the 16 priests who were ordained on Saturday at Our Lady of Good Shepherd, Rushoroza Catholic Parish in Kabale District. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Congratulations to Father Mubangizi. Meanwhile, former Kampala Metropolitan Police Commander Sam Omara has joined the Arrow Security Company owned by Flight Captain Mike Mukula after retiring from police years ago. Omara became the talk of the town during walk-to-work demonstrations when he was charged with the responsibility of ensuring that Dr. Kano Kizza Besigye was maintained under house arrest and to contain street demonstrations downtown Kampala before he fed out with the police leadership and sent on forced interdiction before retirement from the forces.
You cause commotion. You come back. All this is part of my home. I know. My home. I know. You go back there and rest.
Retired Assistant Commissioner of Police Sam Omara, who was credited for severely blocking then opposition leader, retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye from accessing town at the helm of Walk to Work, and later claimed that his life was in danger, informing the relevant authorities, including the law and order, that Samwivo and mafias are hell-bent on killing before he could be retired in 2020. Has this afternoon joined the Arrow Private Security Company. The water-mouthed Sam Omara, unveiled at the residence of Mike Mukula and appointed as the deputy director in the Arrow Private Security Company, Omara, who comes to the security firm with a rich experience, was accompanied by his sons and daughters.
Will also come in and maintain the same rank here. And I want to assure you that in doing this, Commander Mana will bring a wealth of experience and capacity to this initiative.
Speaking at the ceremony where Omara was unveiled, Mukula told the media that Omara's vast experience in managing street demonstrations and riots formed the basis for his admission to the private security firm, where recruits will benefit from his rich experience in countering street violence.
So in terms of command and control, we want to strengthen and ensure that Arrow Security becomes #1 in this country in terms of organization, in terms of discipline.
After retiring from police in 2020, Sam Omara is still convinced that he has the expertise to turn around the private security company to better performance.
I'm very grateful, sir, for bringing on board with Arrow Security. My men, my officers, you know that you have got a leader who is parental, who would like you to go on, to grow and not to come down.
Omara says he finds no difference between managing a private security company and police, saying that their roles are more or less similar.
We have talked of the 3 C's, command and control and what. But administratively, under my administration, we shall also use 3 C's, which is coordination, cooperation, and communication.
Sam Omara will ever be remembered for having served Uganda police with one heart and making damning allegations against the force that it contained several weavers, Kawukumi, working with criminals and mafia gangs to obstruct justice and cause suffering to Ugandans.
UBC News tonight. We thank you so much for watching. Let's take this short break. Do not go anywhere.
These days, our homes are no longer just the places we live. It's where we attend meetings, go to class, keep each other safe, and entertain ourselves. To do this smoothly, you need a reliable internet connection. Buy the MTN WakaNet router, which connects up to 32 devices, and get a free 40 GB data bundle at only 149,000 shillings. Or buy the MTN WakaNet MiFi at only 75,000 shillings and enjoy a free 15 GB bundle to stream, study, work, and play on the go. Visit any MTN service center to buy the MTN WakaNet router or MiFi and enjoy the internet that does amazing things.
Uganda's oil and gas activities are undertaken in line with the updated environment legislation and benchmarked on international best practice standards in order to continuously ensure coexistence between the oil activities and Uganda's rich biodiversity. Following the award of the Environment and Social Impact Assessment certificates for the Kingfisher, Tilenga, and East African crude oil pipeline projects, various environmental and social management plans have also been developed to ensure sustainable development of the projects. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda is working with other regulatory bodies to monitor all oil and gas activities to enhance compliance and environment protection during oil activities. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Hello, darling.
Hi, Granny.
What did you do this weekend?
Well, on Friday, I went on a science trip with my classmates to Windy to see the gorillas.
Then we watched the Cup final in London.
Oh.
On Saturday, my friends and I met up to hunt some dragons again. Also, I taught the vacuum cleaner and the TV this new dance everyone's doing. They're really getting into it. And on Sunday, I went to bed watching the world from space. And you? Yes, seriously, Granny.
With Airtel 5G's lightning-fast speeds and seamless connectivity, you won't believe what's next.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Sebo.
Yes?
This is the bill.
What?
Malaria testing, 10,000. Treatment, 100,000 since we put her on drip.
Hey, Musao, can you read this for me? Before I brought my wife here, I'd already spent money on buying herbal medicine and drugs from the pharmacy, which didn't work.
But Sebo, the government gave out mosquito nets. Doesn't your family use them?
We got the mosquito nets, but they got holes and we didn't know what to do.
Protect your loved ones from malaria. Sew your mosquito nets whenever they get damaged to keep the mosquitoes away. Ensure all nets are tied up every morning to avoid damaging them. Ensure that everyone in your family sleeps under a treated mosquito net every night, whether it is a cold or hot season. Together, we can chase malaria out of Uganda. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Global Fund.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
Dear Airtel customer, we know that there are days when unexpected stays in hospital stand in the way of your family's welfare. That is why Hospital Center is here to give you up to 100,000 shillings every night you spend in hospital. Hospital Center also offers up to 4 million in funeral benefit. Dial star 185 star 7 star 6 hash to purchase Hospital Center on Airtel Money for as little as 1,000, 3,000 or 5,000 shillings a month. Your cover for the first 1 month is free. Hospital Center is underwritten by Prudential and powered by Turaco. Prudential and Turaco are regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda. Airtel Money is regulated by the Bank of Uganda.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the Parish Development Model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The Parish Development Model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
UBC News Tonight. Now, the Senior Presidential Advisor on Special Operations, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, has kicked off his 2-day tour of duty in Teso sub-region. The General, who arrived in the area with his first stop over at Father Filani Amusi Primary School in Kwari Sub-County, Bukedea District, was received by the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, a Deputy Thomas Tayebwa, and close to 300 members of Parliament. In this report, local residents stand up in huge numbers to receive the first son in the districts of Bukedea, Kumi, Ngora, and Soroti City.
The long-awaited visitor for Teso sub-region, the Senior Presidential Advisor on Special Operations, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, has finally on Monday, 14th August 2023, arrived in the area. These border operators formed part of the reception at Father Filani Amusi Primary School in Kwari Sub-County, where General Muhoozi Kainerugaba landed. His convoy was then led to Kongonga Primary School playgrounds in Kachumbara Sub-County, where he was received by the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, and her Deputy, Thomas Tayebwa.
This is Kachumbara County, and this is the entry point to Teso. Once you get a blessing from Bukedea, then you have a blessing of the whole of Teso. We as the people of Bukedea wish you good luck in whatever you're doing.
Here, over 300 members of Parliament joined thousands of Teso residents to receive the first son.
General MK, honorable ministers and honorable colleagues, and people of Bukedea, I want to thank you for the gift of my sister. Thank you. Thank you.
He was gifted with a spear, an arrow, and a bow.
Old men in Bukedea, for us, we believe in the old men. And just like we believe in President Museveni was given Olubengo from here. Now the old men want to give you a chair to sit. That you must guard this chair very well. Because they believe in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. When it reaches to the Son, you now protect that chair. You protect the chair, and then the spear. This is where Musei was given the Olubengo. Now he has been given.
And here Muhoozi made a brief address to his supporters.
I'm very excited back in Teso. I know Teso very well. I was here in 2003 when LRA had invaded Teso. I was in Soroti for almost 6 months that time. So I know Teso very well. It is my home, and I thank you for this warm welcome.
On his way to Soroti City, the senior presidential advisor made his first stop over in Komi district, where he was received by the cheering crowds.
Thank you very much for welcoming us to Teso.
Muhoozi also met another waiting gathering at Mukura Trading Center in Ngora district before getting to that of Awija Bridge.
To Soroti, let's all move together and let the whole of Soroti stand still when we enter.
The journey to Soroti was spiced up with hundreds of MK supporters who formed along major stretches and roads with cars and boda as part of the convoy. And this was Muhoozi's entrance in Soroti City. Indeed, the entry in Soroti City left business at a standstill for close to 1 hour as hundreds lined up along major roads to cheer up the Four-Stars General. Muhoozi rounded up the arrival by officiating over the climax of MK football tournament for Teso sub-region, where winners were awarded and crowned with different gifts and awards. Muhoozi will on Tuesday 15th August 2023 hold the regional baraza at Soroti Sports Club grounds in Soroti City, where discussions will center on security, development, education and talent. I'm Robert Onyango and Sharon Chomugisha for UBC News.
We thank you so much for watching. That was in Teso, and we'll keep you posted about the folding, whatever that will unfold that side. Now, like every Monday, we always have a guest here, and that is the Minister for National Guidance, Information and Information Technology, that is the Honorable Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, to give us a picture of what plans are there for the country, especially in line with cabinet decisions, and a look at a number of issues that government may need to handle in the week that we begin. As we ended last week, there was a story of World Bank cutting donations and loans to Uganda and things like that. Then we have had presidents that have visited Uganda in addition to the political roadmap that was released by the Electoral Commission. Then tomorrow we shall have the inauguration of a new board for the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, that is UBC, that you are watching. Those are among the few issues that we are going to talk about. Dr. Baryomunsi is already here with us, and we welcome you so much, Honorable.
Thank you very much, and good evening, viewers. I am happy to be back here, the studio of our mighty UBC.
Okay, Baganda say Omugabite yesera, if you're the one serving food, it will be very funny that you get little or you miss out.
Absolutely.
I'll start with this issue of UBC. We expect you tomorrow to inaugurate a new board for UBC. This comes at a time of uncertainty, of funding, government adverts and things like that. What do you expect of the new board in the first place, in as far as UBC affairs are concerned? And what is the conclusion about these uncertainties of government adverts, National Broadcasters Association and UBC?
Well, the board represents the minister in the supervision of an agency like UBC. You know, when we make laws, we usually provide for a minister appointing a board, so that the board is responsible for the oversight and supervision
on behalf of the minister.
On behalf of the minister. So the board we are inaugurating will be doing the supervision on my behalf and then report to the minister, because as a minister you cannot be able to have your eyes and hands on every agency. Like in the Ministry of ICT, we have UBC, one agency, we have UCC, we have NITAU, we have Posta Uganda,
Media Center,
we have Uganda Media Center, we have Media Council, we have UCTL, the company now running the telecom, former UTL. We have New Vision, although we handle it concurrently with the Ministry of Finance, but they do work which is within our mandate. So those are different agencies. So as a minister, you can't be able to supervise on a daily basis what is going on in these different agencies. So that's why the laws make a provision for the minister appointing a board to oversee the work. So the work of the board is basically to supervise management and oversee the work being done by UBC. UBC is a national broadcaster, and we take it as a key priority institution for government.
Okay.
Because we are a ministry for communication and national guidance, and UBC, although we also have private players, but this remains our firstborn as a government. And despite the challenges of financial resources, but the UBC has been doing a good job, and we are going to put more money in the UBC. There has been a debate on the guidance the president had given earlier on, that the all government advertisement be done through UBC, and then the private players raised a petition to the president. We had a meeting with the president.
Yes.
And when we evaluated this whole issue, first of all, we found out that the advertising budget of government is very small. It was amounting to about 7.5 billion, which is even too little to support UBC and take it to a level where we want it. So, but also in the magnanimous heart of the president, he said, "You are all my children. If you are crying about this little money, no problem. I can, well, like waive off that directive or guidance which I had given, but then government will have to put adequate resources to finance UBC. So we shall give UBC more money even this financial year. But the same directive which the president had given had indicated that starting next financial year, government should budget and provide 30 billion shillings to UBC. But from the computations provided by management, we may need more, and we shall find the resources and capitalize heavily UBC and make it the #1 source of information and news.
Honorable, there is something you said, you will fund UBC to a level where you want it.
Yes.
Share the picture of that level. Where do you want UBC?
You see, the president instructed me as a Minister of ICT to turn UBC into a CNN and Al Jazeera level.
Okay.
Level. So we require resources to turn it that level. But also when we talk of UBC, You are talking of many TV channels, not only this one where we are. We are also talking of over 11 radio stations,
yes,
spread all over the country. So UBC is a huge institution that has both TV and the radio stations, and we would want the signal first of all to be good, and actually the signal is very good, but also Ugandans to be able to pick the UBC signal anywhere in the country, free to air, meaning that you don't have to hook on DSTV or Star Times
on
or
pay platforms.
On pay platforms, you should be able to have a special decoder for free to air, and then you are able to watch UBC in the comfort of your home, from Kisoro to Karamoja, from West Nile to Bukedi. That's what we are desiring.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And we shall reach there. And also to support UBC to be able to be picked from all over the world. Yes, even now it streams. You can be outside the country and you pick it, but because the other day I was in Geneva and I was able to follow the news and so forth. So you can still pick
YouTube.
Yes, but we needed to strengthen and enhance that capacity to be able to pick UBC. Like we have many Ugandans in the diaspora. We would want them to be part and parcel of what goes on here by getting their news and updates through UBC. So we shall get there.
Are there new faces on the board, or we are having
it's a mixture of the members of the old and some new members.
Okay.
Yes, some new members. Usually we provide for continuity so that you don't take away everybody.
Totally fresh team.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, let me take you to the World Bank issues. These guys came out and declared that because of the law that we signed, the law that we say it respects our values as a community, they are going not to work with us again financially through loans and grants and things like that. First of all, yes, many people have heard it, but I wanted them to confirm it from you, the Minister for National Guidance, and what does it mean?
We have been very clear, even the President has been very clear, that yes, we've been enjoying a cordial partnership with the World Bank, but it had never come to us that partnership is based on them forcing us to swallow what we feel is not palatable. Because as Africans, as Ugandans, we don't believe in homosexuality and those homosexual practices.
Yes.
And we may be poor, but we are not desperate to need to be on our knees and to start accepting behaviors like homosexuality simply because we get the money. In any case, Uganda, in our view as a government, is developing, is making advances, making progress, not necessarily because of loans, not because of loans. So, with or without this World Bank money, which of course is not free, there are loans which we pay back, I don't think Uganda will collapse, Uganda will die. This kind of arrogance, this kind of blackmail, we also don't accept it. We legislate for Ugandans. When we sit in that parliament, which was elected, because we are elected by Ugandans to represent their interests, we legislate for Ugandans. We don't legislate to please World Bank, to please these countries in Europe or America or anywhere. No, we don't. And what we pass doesn't have to be pleasant to them.
It is the interest.
The same way, they also pass legislations and policies, and we don't complain because we believe they are passing them in the interest of their people. So even as the laws which we pass here, we pass them in the interest of Ugandans. And Ugandans are united against this homosexuality, period. So no amount of arm twisting, no amount of blackmail, no amount of cajoling will make us yield that we should now embrace homosexuality simply because the world
somebody is taking away their loans.
No. So we are very firm on this. We shall engage them. We shall engage them. But if they insist that we must embrace homosexuality, then we shall say, okay.
When you say engage them, what do you mean? Do you need to explain yourselves more about this law that was?
Yes, we shall engage them to explain what the law. You see, many of them even react without reading what the law says. Because I have heard what they write, like where they think that when you are homosexual in Uganda, then you will be arrested. No. Nobody is going to meet you on the street and say, are you homosexual or not? We are saying, if you promote homosexuality, if you openly practice, then that offends the law. But if you are homosexual and you are doing your own thing, nobody bothers. Nobody bothers. Like now you look at me, are you able to tell whether I'm a homosexual or heterosexual? Or are you going to ask me, are you homosexual? No, nobody would ask. So they also needed to read the law and understand it. They are taking some of these actions out of ignorance and failing to read the law and see what it says. They are on, this is the Western world. Most of our countries were colonized by these Europeans.
Yes.
Many of them left legislations that prohibit same-sex marriages. Those Europeans and the Western world. So if the themselves put it in our laws,
what we're doing is just emphasizing what they left.
Penal code. It is a colonial legislation. In Uganda, rather in Africa, the last time I counted, about 38 countries have very explicit laws prohibiting homosexual relationships. So is World Bank going to close the shop? Because they have offices here. I am waiting to see whether they will close their office and go back.
At that very point, I was reading, there's some analyst on that internet who had written and said that these are countries that are bent with this Russia-Ukrainian war, so they suspect us to have a side which they don't believe in. And he asked, why do you think they had to do it now when we passed the law a long time ago? So could there be some explanation with the Russia-Ukraine war?
Russia-America Cold War that is existing now, and of course our recent visit to Russia together with other African countries. But you see, again, the same principle. We are not here to please anybody. If Russia is your enemy, then Russia doesn't have to become our enemy. We have had a cordial relationship with Russia for a long time. And like this war between Russia and Ukraine, which has caused a lot of anxiety globally, our view as Uganda is that that conflict should be resolved through round-the-table engagements and negotiations, and at the end, that's the view of Uganda. That's why in the UN we have abstained. That's why when President Ramaphosa pushed for the idea of an African team, Uganda embraced it, and Uganda is an active member of that team which has been visiting the two countries with a view of having this issue resolved so that the guns can get silent, normalcy returns, stability returns, and then the normal life continues. That's the view Uganda takes and most of the African countries. So why should anybody anywhere think that their views are what we should take? Because we are a sovereign country, we take our own independent decisions. So gone are the days when we would succumb to these colonial and neo-colonial kind of forces. I think there is need for mutual respect.
How have you projected the impact of this decision by World Bank as government onto our economy and the country in general?
Well, our position is that we are not necessarily dying to have World Bank money, especially if
but we have been
if they are conditioning
we have been enjoying it.
If they are conditioning it to accepting homosexuality, yes, they may have an impact here and there.
How big is that impact, Honorable?
That some of the projects to be supported may delay, maybe some roads, maybe electricity power and so forth. Our view, we are saying we are going to tighten belts. We are going to see points where there has been hemorrhage in terms of our resources. We promote frugality and parsimony in terms of utilizing our resources, and I'm sure we shall be able to fund most of these projects.
That is
in any case, yes, we have many infrastructure projects which we have funded with our own budget, So we shall also put the World Bank support to scale. What is it that they have done which is very fundamental, that if they hadn't done it, would have collapsed? Is it there? Can you list what have they done in Uganda that if it wasn't there, Ugandans would have seized it?
As Minister for National Guidance,
yes,
the Ugandan watching us would love to know, because everybody is now anxious.
Yes.
What are those areas that government is going to touch and close, some leakages and things like that? Some people are worried. Actually, today I heard on radio some local government workers are warning, government, please don't touch our salaries. Please don't touch our allowances. So to clear that worry and fear, what are those areas that you are going to touch?
The salaries.
Some people are already.
First of all, the salaries.
Some people are already suggesting reduce the MPs to half.
First of all, the salaries haven't been paid by World Bank or any partner. We use our own internally generated resources through our taxes to pay the salaries. But we shall scrutinize the budget again and remove areas which we think
can be foregone.
Wastage can be foregone. We had already started. I think the Minister of Finance had already made pronouncements, like cutting on foreign travels. And you see the time we have been having huge delegations going to attend conferences. Now we delegate our ambassadors and high commissioners to represent the country in some of those conferences. So we only allow where somebody from the country must travel. But for most of those global meetings, we shall delegate high commissioners and the ambassadors there.
Would that affect our foreign policy if people stop seeing us, our representation,
no,
African Parliament,
but I am here,
Commonwealth Parliament,
for
things
you
like that?
You who seeing me here, even the people in America and Europe are seeing me. These days of digitization, you can attend virtually. You don't have to fly to Japan to attend a meeting.
Okay.
I usually do meetings in European Parliament, in China, from my office. I always do interviews on CNN, the BBC from my office. So you can attend those meetings virtually without flying there. But that is if it is extremely necessary that as a minister, you must show appearance.
Okay.
The reason why we have embassies and high commissioners, they represent the interests of the countries. So there are those adjustments which we shall have to make. Then also assessing the budget with a view of removing or minimizing those consumptive areas which we think do not make a significant contribution to the strengthening of the economy. And they are there. If it means now cutting off tea in offices and newspapers and so forth, we shall cut all of them. There are areas which we can cut and mobilize resources. We may not...
To a tune of what we would get from World Bank.
Well, even if it is not to the tune, that's why I said some projects might delay, say a road from District X to District Y, which was to be funded by World Bank, might delay. But even if the road delayed, would we die as Ugandans because we haven't tarmacked the particular road? For many years, we have not had the tarmac roads in many parts of the country.
Then there is a religious leader that I heard who said, let them take their money. Government, partner with some other people who can lend us money like we have been borrowing from them.
Absolutely. The World Bank
is there that kind of alternative as well?
World Bank is not the only lender. We have Islamic banking, we have African Development Bank, we have China Exim Bank.
But there is a reason why you have been working with World Bank, even in the existence of all those.
Exim Bank, they are there. They are there. There are other sources.
So
which may even have better terms than even what we get from World Bank.
So may we see us crossing the road to another bank?
No, not crossing the road. We've been getting these resources from different banks.
Okay.
It's not that we only get from World Bank, but if they choose to seize that partnership because of homosexuality, we can work with someone else. Funders. So that's why I'm saying we cannot lose sleep simply because World Bank has said embrace homosexuality or else we cut off. And we are saying we shall not embrace homosexuality. So if you want to cut off the money, cut it.
Okay.
Yes.
His Excellency William Ruto was in Uganda yesterday. Is there anything new about our partnership with the neighbor? What is new that the country may need to know?
Few days or months or weeks, there are many presidents and heads of state who have been coming here for meetings, but also for consultations, including President Ruto of Kenya. Of course, our president is a statesman, is a seasoned leader in the region and respected not only in the region, but globally. And of course, you know, he's very experienced in statecraft and political leadership. So they come to do consultation. But also, you know, we've been having trade relations with Kenya, and at times having bumps, challenges here and there. You just wake up, you say Kenyan government has put a ban on some of the products like milk and poultry products. You've reported some of these incidences. So they made to harmonize a number of these areas. And of course, there is a lot of trade and business partnership between Uganda and Kenya. You know, we're a landlocked country. Many of the items which we import from outside,
it passes through their country.
Kenya. And say the fuel we buy, we usually get from Kenya. So they were discussing those bilateral issues. We have conflict, especially around Karamoja, where the Turkana came. You remember the time when they came and killed the geologists? Those are the matters they were discussing. So there were a range of issues which were discussed between the two presidents, and I can say the outcome was very positive because the president briefed us in the cabinet today on a number of issues. So it was good for Uganda because a lot of progress was realized.
Thank you. Let us wind up with the roadmap that was released by the Electoral Commission recently. First of all, is it too early for it to come out? Or if it's the right time, why, in your view? And secondly, how ready are we? The other biggest concern is, what do you think about this roadmap coming in, not having the package for LC1? And the LC1, again, we just get to remember, hey, it is 10 years we have not voted. Can we mobilize?
No, LC1, first of all, we amended, we extended their term.
Exactly. But there was a roadmap that was released towards 2021, and these guys were not catered for.
You see, like the decision was taken that we had promised Ugandans that we were going to fund the parish development model. Now the decision we had to make, it was, should we hold elections immediately, but suffocate the PDM in a way, or let's first put money in the parish development model, the elections can wait. When you are a leader, you have to, you face those choices and you have to make a decision. And we felt it is, it's not extremely harmful to delay LC elections for a while, and then we put money to the people so that we build the economy. So after 6 months, we shall evaluate and see whether we can have elections or we can do a further extension. But coming to the roadmap, it's not too early, not too late. We are midway the term. I think it's important for the Electoral Commission to say, hey, you have served now midway.
Halfway of the...
Halfway. Now, the end point will be around this time.
And we are
the
ready to bring in new people.
Milestones are like this, so be aware. You may not start campaigning, but you start planning properly. Like me now, who is a member of parliament, now I start gauging, okay, now I have this period remaining, I have pledges which I have made, maybe not yet fulfilled, I have this to fix, I have this, then you start planning. So there is no big problem with that one. So
what
now
do you think
political players, including political parties, have now to prepare and move along that roadmap.
What do you think goes wrong when we get these roadmaps a little early? Actually, not even a little early as now. Then we get election drama, the ballot papers having Bariomusi's face in Busoga and another face in Busoga found in Kanungu, things like that.
Now,
what
this
goes
early
wrong?
release of the roadmap is supposed to chew some of those. The Electoral Commission, for instance, is now alerting us, please government, give us money to start doing some of these things early. Political parties, we want political parties, we also now have to gauge. We have to do primaries. So now when do we do them? Last time we had a challenge in NRM, we reached the point of doing primaries when our register was not complete. And the chairman had to say, let everybody who comes and is confirmed by the committee of NRM should be allowed to vote. And it became a challenge for our primaries. But now this is now awakening us. Now the generations are on this day, work backwards. When we rehold the primaries, work backwards. How much time do you need to put in place a register? Then you reorganize. Instead of them bring a roadmap when you have 6 months and then you are caught unawares. So I must congratulate the Electoral Commission that they have alerted all of us, the actors, to know that the period remaining like this, and then everybody from whatever point he or she serves from, do your part.
Okay.
Like now finance has to mobilize resources to support the preliminary activities for the Electoral Commission,
the election,
so that what you are raising, you find my face in the Karamoja when I'm supposed to vote from Chinchiz Kanungu. All those are rectified in time to minimize those kind of errors.
Are you ready as political parties with what we see and what we hear?
If I can speak for NRM, for which I am a leader, I can't speak for the other parties because I see them being consumed with negative energy and other things. But for us as the NRM, yes, we are preparing. We are getting ready.
Really?
Now, yes.
What is the evidence, Honorable?
The evidence?
Yes.
We are preparing to put a register in place.
Okay.
Yes, a register in place. And now we also have our own internal roadmap. Looking at when, we have also been extending the life of the structures.
You have officials before court for having, suspected for having rigged an election in Bukendea.
Those are individuals.
You
That's
see?
not a party.
So
it's not a party which is in the court as a political party. It's individuals who could have flouted the rules. And
then recently in
being a member of NRM, you're not immune.
In Oyam, I'm quoting the Electoral Commission chairman of the NRM. He said, yes, there are officials that are suspected from the secretariat to have been involved in
this. Yes, let them face the law.
Yes.
Because even as
are those signs that you're ready?
Absolutely. If our own members are facing the law, that's a sign of readiness. I can tell you that in the cabinet even today, we were discussing a paper from Ministry of Justice and Electoral Commission on the use of biometric verification kits or tools, the gadgets. Today in the cabinet, we didn't conclude the discussion. We shall conclude on Monday. So we are ready. So the Electoral Commission has brought the relevant instruments in the cabinet for us to process. So we are getting it. We shall be ready.
We thank you so much, Honor.
What they are doing is good, the Electoral Commission, to remind all of us.
Okay.
So it is up to each political party. Like I said, I can't speak for the other political parties.
I understand, yes.
But even them, they should get the roadmap and put their acts together and fit in, and then we shall be ready to they should be ready to face us.
In Parliament, you're resuming this week?
Absolutely, on Tuesday tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Honorable.
Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Yes, his name is Dr. Chris Bariomonsi, and he is the Minister for ICT and National Guidance here in Uganda. We normally have him on Mondays to give us a picture of cabinet decisions.
But we're now starting, I think next Monday,
yes,
we are starting a new program on UBC here, where from 8:30 to 10, we shall be hosting ministers to explain what the ministries do in the service provision for Uganda. But I will be launching, we shall be launching that program
next
so that Ugandans can have an opportunity to interface and engage government ministers. We shall be coming here to explain what we do in our offices.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm sure Ugandans can't wait. That is all we had for you. Thank you so much for watching. Let me catch you at 10 p.m. in our other news arrangement. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you.
Honorable, thank you so much.